Hello, this is State Representative Jay Reedy. I need to report on House Bill 274 here in Nashville, Tennessee, and it pertains to search and seizures with the hemp industry, with what was passed in the Farm Bill 2018 in Washington, D.C., what we're going to see, potentially see, some of the problems that we have already run into. I do want to discuss with you on what we are working on, what we need to accomplish, because you, the consumer, can actually purchase hemp-derived products, gummy bears, hemp oil, CBD products. Currently behind me over my shoulder, you will see House Bill 1164. This was a bill that we passed a couple of years ago that is allowing the universities, colleges to do the research on hemp seed in Tennessee, TSU, MTSU, University of Tennessee. It made it legal in the state of Tennessee. It added to the pilot program. You had to buy the permit to grow industrial hemp in the state of Tennessee. No part of that hemp plant could go over 0.3% THC. Test the plant before it can leave the farm, and if it goes over 0.3, you will destroy in place. So let's get into House Bill 274, give you a quick update on that. What we are looking at in the state of Tennessee, this is 2019. Everywhere in the Tennessee Code annotated that mentions forfeiture and seizure, it exempts hemp by definition. The legislation removes the odor of cannabis as the sole cause of a vehicle or property search. Because of the 2018 Farm Bill, hemp is now federally recognized as an agriculture commodity and deschedules hemp from the Controlled Substance Act. Therefore, the hemp industry needs protection while conducting daily legal business. Through the rulemaking in the state of Tennessee, the Department of Agriculture can change some of the laws, but some of it requires that a bill be presented to codify Tennessee Code annotated, and that's kind of what we live under, Tennessee Code annotated. Now with the Farm Bill from Washington, D.C., the 2018 Farm Bill, DEA is no longer involved with a permit. You have to have a permit. If you are out there growing a clone plant, a plant from hemp seed, and you do not have a permit, you will, if you got caught by law enforcement, they will try you as trying to grow marijuana. So keep that in mind. Passage of the Farm Bill, the rules have changed in Tennessee per the Department of Agriculture. It went from 15 pages, now it's down to 4 pages. So let's have the discussion about what you, the consumer, what you, the grower, what you, the law enforcement, if you're with the police force, the sheriff's department, TBI, we need to be working together on the issues with hemp, with industrial hemp. And what I mean by that is, if you go to a farmer's market and you buy a seed head, you buy some leaves, make sure that you pick up you can get a copy of the grower's license, you can get a copy of the seed or the plant test showing that it is not above 0.3%. Once again, keep in mind, if it is a viable plant or seed, something you could stick in the ground and grow, you must have the grower's license, okay? So you could actually go to the farm, if it's a virgin female plant and the farmer grower cuts the head of that off, you can legally, as an end user, legally possess that portion of the plant. So actually, somebody with a stock trailer could go out to a farm where somebody is growing this, and being it's a sterile plant, they can't regrow it. They cut off the top half of the plant. That's will be covered with leaves, the fiber, the seed. You could have a whole trailer load of that. But an example: law enforcement stops you out on the road. You have no documentation, none. If you didn't get any documentation, law enforcement's going to question you. Where is this coming from? It smells like marijuana. It smells like, or cannabis. You need to have proof. So this particular person was alongside the road for 4 hours before legal documentation proving that it was not marijuana was there. Law enforcement needs to educate themselves on just because it smells like marijuana doesn't mean that it's marijuana. We need to prevent illegal searches and seizures. Somebody going to the market with this plant, we don't need a holdup. They are ready to process it for hemp oil, for maybe they're looking for the CBD oil, but also keep in mind it's used for fuel and it's used for fiber. So Patagonia, the hemp rugged wear clothing line, for those folks working in the oil wells, the timber industry, ranch wear, there's clothing out there made out of this same hemp plant. So another example is somebody's making skateboard blanks out of hemp. Somebody else is making surfboards out of hemp. Other people, you may have heard about it in the news, hempcrete, taking this, the hurd, the fiber out of that plant, mixing it with concrete, building structures with it. It's pretty fascinating. Go to any of the YouTube channels, do a Google search, hempcrete, get educated on that. But here is a plant that's legal to own in Tennessee. It's legal to grow with the right permits. If you're thinking about growing hemp, start small. Visit with somebody that is going to be a buyer. Make sure of your market. Start off small. Maybe somebody wants it to be grown organically. They don't want synthetic fertilizers. There's no products labeled for herbicides, pesticides on industrial hemp, and you have to make sure that you're not contaminating that. There are many out-of-state companies that will do tests on the hemp plant, not just hemp plants, the soybeans, cotton, corn. Certainly you can ask, I want a test sample done to make sure there's no 2,4-D in this product, because if you're going to ingest it, consume it, or sell it to people to do so, you don't want the liability of killing somebody because your plant was contaminated and you extracted the oil and you sold it to them. Keep in mind, hemp oil, low temperature cooking, drizzle it on your salad. It's very high protein, high fiber if you're getting the fiber portion out of the plant. Omega-3s, omega-6s, 9s. Look at the research. It's just amazing plant. People have come back and told me they got off their opioids for painkillers, PTSD, Crohn's disease, Parkinson's disease. And I'm not advocating that you go out and get rid of your medication. Visit with your doctor. Do your research. Make sure that your CBD oil that you're buying over the counter is coming from a reliable source. You want to be able to, if you get started on a product, just like I do, and it's kind of like going to McDonald's, no matter where I go, if I want a Big Mac, I want the Big Mac to be the same in any state, any town, anywhere. So do your research there. Let me caution you, the CBD, look on the package, the full spectrum CBD. Yes, it has traces amount of THC. So if your employer does the random drug tests, you want to make sure that you can pass that test. Everybody's bodies metabolize things, process things differently, so be aware of that. But look for the CBD that does not have, they extracted the THC out of it. That's what you consume if you're fearful of losing your job from a drug test. Right now we're having a conversation in Nashville on a bill. How do we educate employers, doctors? You'll come up with a false positive drug test on this, and here's an example of a bill that I've been thinking about. We take and bring a bill, and with that bill says you, the consumer, consuming CBD, can take it to your doctor. The doctor will annotate it on your medical records. Then you take that information still with your employer saying, I am taking this for pain management, for migraines, for PTSD, whatever you believe that your ailment is or is, that you have that proof that you're taking that. So then one day where Jay works, random drug tests, it comes up showing that I've got THC in my system, that I could pay extra money for a more in-depth test done on urine sample, hair sample, whatever, and with that, still proving that it's false positive, that I am taking that. But it's not a bill that we passed. I'm not aware of anybody talking about it yet, but we have got to figure out if this is good for pain management. It's a product. It's not addictive, unlike the opioids. We just had a meeting today talking about the opioids crisis in Tennessee, but it's also nationwide. CBD will help you, your family, your friends get away from the opioids and relieve the pain and problems that you're having health-wise. Let's do that. But maintain your receipts, your packages. If you go to a farmer's market, you buy some of this product, hopefully they've got a good label on it. Hopefully that they'll give you whatever paperwork that you need so you leave, so there's not a problem with law enforcement, that you're owning it legally. And it's the same thing with the Candy Crush that happened last year in Rutherford County. On the package, from what I understand, there was no labeling. It was CBD gummy bears, and they actually would have to send those gummy bears off to a testing lab to make sure the CBD in it was from hemp and not marijuana, going over that 0.3%. Now with that, understand a lot of folks, the high that they want from marijuana has to come from a plant that is 15% or more. Also, I need to state the window for applying for permits to be a grower for the 2019 season has closed. It closed last week. I need to return a phone call to somebody. It seemed like I get a phone call, an email. It's kind of crazy, asking me about the information. If you want more information, you can go online and just type in Tennessee Department of Agriculture Hemp Program. They've upgraded their website, great information. Look through all the rules, the regulations, the permitting. Then also with that, because of the permitting period ending, go out and visit with these folks that are receiving their permits. Look at what they're doing, how they're doing it, talking to the processors. Just with that, I believe it's on the website. There are the contacts for processors. People, that was one of the changes. You don't have to pay for a permit to process, but you have to be registered. So if you're going to process hemp products and sell them, you must notify the Department of Agriculture that you are a processor as well. Still keep in mind, you as a consumer can own any portion of that plant as long as it's non-viable. You can't stick it in the ground, plant it, grow it, and with that you can own it. So it's if you want one of the stalks, and people, I said, I explained, if you take a corn stalk, break it in half, the fibers are running on the outside. It's called the hurd is on the inside, multi-purpose plant. And really they crush that. It's a decorticator is the piece of equipment. You run those stalks through, it will separate the fiber from the hurd. So the fiber could go to rope and paper, many things that it can go to. But the hurd can go into the hempcrete, it can go into chicken litter in your hen houses for chicken droppings, or the horse stalls for the droppings, kind of like being used for sawdust. It's all there. Do your research, understand what maybe you want to grow. Do you want to grow dual purpose, both for oil, for the fiber? Right now, the big money and the talk is with the CBD. There's certain variety of those plants that are best for the CBD, and that's where you need to visit with somebody that's going to maybe contract with you on that crop. Final part of this conversation, we are waiting on Washington, D.C. with rulemaking to be rolled out. I expect that to be later this fall, maybe this time spring next year, and at that time we here in Nashville will visit with the Department of Agriculture, see their rulemaking, see what is the new obstacles, or did we unclutter more of the legislation requirements, all of that. Try to keep you up to date on what's going on with industrial hemp in the state of Tennessee, the opportunities that the small-time farmers, there's a lot of big farmers that are interested in this crop too, that if the bottom falls out of corn, they're looking for a different cash crop to get busy with. And from there, we will keep you up to date. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, to love you, have you as a subscriber. We're going to try to cover a lot of things happening on the farm, my farm, things happening political wise here in Nashville, Tennessee on Capitol Hill, but also we love to travel as a family, see things, and just share our experiences with you. And that's why we call it the Reedy Chronicles. Things happen in life, and what better way to share that through a video presentation like this. But thank you, God bless, and have a great day.